started off the work week on a positive note. We've got a little storm system rolling through the area. Nothing overly impressive, but it is going to cause some impacts to a few areas. So going to go through what we can expect from this first wave of moisture, but also waves 2 and 3 that are expected throughout this week. Unfortunately, if you enjoyed the very spring-like weather we certainly had this weekend, me included, we're likely not going to be seeing a whole lot of that. Temperatures will still be a little bit above average, though we're going to be more in this kind of gloomy, murky type of weather pattern with valley rain and snow and mountain snow for not only just today, but for the majority of this week as well. But maybe by the time we get to the weekend, we start to see more of those spring-like conditions return once again. So I'm going to spin this back around, show you what we're looking at with live conditions across western Montana. And then we'll get started here in about, say, 20, 30 seconds. It'll give me a chance to make sure everything's working here behind the scenes. But as you can see, it is just a gloomy, cloudy kind of day. And for some areas, it's a wet evening out there. Kalispell, Missoula, Bozeman, all looking at those rain and snow showers, even towards Virginia City. Normally you can see the ridge over here as we look back off kind of to the north and northwest. But we're starting to see that moisture move into Virginia City as well. So, looks like everything's working here behind the scenes like I was hoping for. Give it another 20 seconds or so. But overall, this is the kind of look that I think we're going to be dealing with in many areas for the next couple of days. We might see a bit of a break tomorrow afternoon, but that break will be short-lived and we'll be right back into the low clouds, the rain, and the snow. So, thank you all for joining in tonight for this YouTube live update. As you're tuning in, certainly let us know where you're tuning in from. Did you enjoy this weekend's lovely weather, or are you looking forward to a little bit more of the rain and snow? I know there's positives and negatives to both. I enjoyed being out in the sunshine all weekend and the more mild temperatures, but I certainly know that our mountains definitely need the accumulating snowfalls. So that'll help our snowpack, and that'll help us out later into the late spring, but especially this summer for our rivers, creeks, and streams as we get that snow melt to start sliding down the mountains and replenishing a lot of our waterways. So really what we're looking at right now, scattered rain and snow showers, that will be continuing through the evening. All of this driven initially by this storm system moving across the Four Corners region. We're kind of on the backside of this, so we're getting a little bit of a northerly flow on the backside of this area of low pressure, which is combining with just enough moisture to give us these light snow showers. Also, just as a note, if you have any, with this storm system, if you have any friends or family back down into the southern plains, so parts of Oklahoma, Texas, you see this sharp line, that is likely going to become a line of thunderstorms somewhere roughly in this zone, developing tonight, and then that'll march across into the south. So we could be talking severe weather for that part of the country, including the chance for tornadoes. So especially in this zone for tonight, this is going to be an overnight event. So if you have any friends or family, Oklahoma, North Texas, and give them a call, give them a heads up, just let them know, hey, you could have a bit of a bumpy night tonight. But getting it closer to home, we're getting onto the backside of this storm system. This has helped provide us the moisture today, but you look back further off to the west, and here come more rounds of storm systems. And really, one thing that I will note, none of these storms that you can see back here, all these low pressure systems that are developing, we're not going to get a direct hit of those here in western Montana. They're going to be more glancing blows. So in this case, this storm system tracked further south. This storm system, and likely this one that's developing back here, same type of thing. They're going to track further across the Four Corners region versus diving straight across and into western Montana. So that's going to keep the overall snowfall accumulations and the impacts more on the minor side as compared to storms we saw earlier this season with the moderate to heavy impacts that we're dealing with. So key takeaway with this, not looking at major storm systems for the next couple of days, minor impacts, but consistent impacts from these storm systems. So we'll get into the details here starting right now. though I do want to look at those one more set of live conditions and those temperatures. This is looking on the East Ridge and Butte. There's that snow that's falling. So Butte, Bozeman, we have transitioned. Well, I say transitioned over to snow. It's been snow most of the day, but you look back towards Missoula and Kalispell, the wet roads right down here, that has stayed as rain. So we could see a brief window where the rain transitions over to snow back towards Kalispell and Missoula. I think more likely we're going to continue to deal with rain overnight tonight. Now, looking back down towards Bozeman, we do have winter weather advisories that are in effect through 9 a.m. This includes the Big Belt, Bridger, and Castle Mountains, as well as the Gallatin Valley, but also areas over towards Livingston, the Paradise Valley, and then north up through northern Park County, so places like Clyde Park and Wilsall. Overall, again, these are going to continue through 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. For those lighter snow accumulations, not expecting anything particularly heavy, but tonight we could pick up anywhere from about a dusting up to 3 inches in the valleys, and then up in our mountains could be more in that 1 to 5 inch range. So in addition to some valley impacts for tomorrow morning's commute towards Bozeman, Bozeman Pass, Bridger Canyon, could be some at least trickier road conditions as compared to what they have been the last couple of days. Same thing down towards Emigrant, Prey, and locations in the Paradise Valley. Going into Future Tracker, and that did not need to start moving yet. Let me back that up. It's done a good job picking up on the fact that really from Interstate 15 areas along the divide and east, this is primarily going to be a snow event. Back to the west, Kalispell, Polson, Missoula, Thompson Falls, Hamilton, Libby. This is going to primarily be a rain event, at least for the next couple of hours. We will see this window as I start sliding this forward. You see more of those greens disappearing, transitioning over to pink and blue. That's just as those colder temperatures start to settle in overnight tonight, though still looking at, I think, that rain-snow mix back off to the west with the snow continuing. But again, that window for the snow potential, places like Kalispell, Missoula, likely after midnight tonight, but you'll notice as we get beyond, say, 4 o'clock, the snow showers really start to taper off. The storm system will begin to clear the area, and we're going to be just squeezing out those last bits of moisture out of those clouds. Still looking at some spotty showers here and there for tomorrow morning. I think at this point, 9 a.m., we're going to be looking at these primarily up in the higher terrain, so up in our mountains, maybe some light snow for our mountain passes. But overnight, we'll look at the temperatures for tonight, but biggest concern back off to the west will be the freezing of that moisture on the roads as compared to Bozeman, where we're going to be looking at least light accumulations of snowfall into tomorrow morning. Still looking at more high elevation showers for the most part into tomorrow afternoon. You see a lot more of the clouds dissipating, so we may see some peaks of sunshine tomorrow afternoon, but this is going to be a very brief break. By as early as, say, 4 to 5 o'clock. Clouds are starting to build back in, and here comes wave number 2. This one will primarily be for areas along and west of Interstate 15, but much the same Tuesday night and into Wednesday morning. Valley rain, mountain snow showers, and I'll show you those snow level forecasts coming up here in just a minute to kind of give you a sense of where those are going to be. In general, about 4,000 to 4,500 feet, I think, is going to be that snow line. So areas above 4,500 feet, I think, were snow for the duration of this week with these storm systems. It's as you get below 4,500 feet down to around 4,000, 3,500 feet, that's where things start to get a little bit more murky, and we just kind of have to watch those snow levels throughout the day. But in the afternoons, in general, those will rise. In the evenings, those will begin to fall. So that's just a general, I won't say rule of thumb, but that's just the general expectation of what we're expecting. Expectation of what we're expecting. That was a lot of expects in there. But that's what we're looking at for the next couple of days. We'll continue to see that wave of moisture, and this is a newer model run. This is actually bringing more of that moisture into southwest Montana. Still right now looks like it should stay on the lighter side, except for maybe up in the higher elevations in northwest Montana, before we start to see things clear out again briefly, and then we'll see another storm system tracking a little further south. And I'll show you more detail about this Thursday storm here in just a bit. This is looking about midday on Thursday. primarily places like Ennis, Big Sky, West Yellowstone, Bozeman, and east from there, but maybe even as far west as places like Dillon or Wisdom. Lost Trail Pass area might get a little bit of that storm on Thursday. Let's jump into tonight's forecast. Rain and snow showers. That's going to be the case if you're along and really west of the divide. Valleys primarily rain with some snowflakes trying to mix in. Along and east of the divide, I think will primarily be snow with maybe a little bit of rain trying to mix in. So there's the difference there. Temperatures 20s and 30s are going to be common, but you see all areas below freezing, and that's what's going to lead to the potential of maybe some black ice developing for the US 93 corridor, Highway 200, even the US 2 corridor for northwest and west central Montana. But then again, the snow. I've said it a couple of times. Southwest Montana, this should primarily be a snow event, but that said, that could lead to some icy roads in its own right for tonight and into tomorrow morning's commute. Looking to tomorrow afternoon, mostly cloudy skies are expected. We'll see those snow showers in southwest Montana begin to taper off in the early to mid-morning hours tomorrow. We're going to see those temperatures ranging from the mid-30s down towards Bozeman and West Yellowstone to as high as the upper 40s and lower 50s for Libby and Thompson Falls. Gives you a sense of the more mild conditions back off to the west as that next wave of moisture starts to roll in. And again, nothing particularly impressive on the we're going to see major snow or rain from this next series of storms. Top chance is going to be about a 40% chance of snow showers, and this is looking primarily for the Bozeman and Butte areas for that Thursday storm system, maybe in that 10 to as much as 30% chance of showers Tuesday into Wednesday with that next wave overnight tomorrow night. And here's a sense of the snow levels, and this is why it's going to be kind of interesting to watch. We're seeing those snow levels fall tonight from around 4,500, 4,000 feet down to near valley floors as we get into tomorrow morning. That'll continue to fall Tuesday night and into Wednesday morning, and this is going to be that best window for some accumulating snowfall. But then that next wave rolls in, temperatures start to climb again, snow levels back up to around 4,000 feet for Wednesday. And Thursday, though, I think at this point, most of that moisture for Thursday stays in southwest Montana, so Kalispell, Polson, Missoula, Hamilton. Likely, at least at this time, should stay dry. Maybe a few spotty showers here and there, but most of this should be for southwest Montana by the time we get into Thursday. Those snow levels stay down Friday into Saturday, but right now it doesn't look like there may be some lingering showers in southwest Montana for Friday, but elsewhere, at that point, we're going to be looking at much quieter conditions as we head into the weekend, looking at those temperatures back up into the 40s and 50s. And then here's that Thursday storm system. We kind of looked at it before, but you notice how, I'm going to actually back this up and give you the sense of how that second storm is going to track. You notice how most of this moisture stays even down into, say, central and southern Oregon and Idaho. As it moves further off to the east, you see it sort of spin back into Wyoming, and then it clips into West Yellowstone, Livingston, Bozeman, Big Sky area. And really that's going to be our only window. Few showers may try and pop up back off to the west, but Bozeman will be the focus for that Thursday system. Right now, still doesn't look like it's anything overly impressive. Maybe a couple of inches here and there, primarily up in our higher elevations. That's pretty much everything I had. I do want to pull up a couple of graphics really quick. I'm just going to look at the 7-day because I talked about the warm-up for the weekend again. So let me pull this up really quick. And I know I've got, at least looks like we've got 9 of you. If you have any questions or comments, certainly feel free to ask those in the chat section as we start to get this closed up for the evening. But I'll be happy to answer those about this storm system or what you might expect from that. So as we get into the weekend, we're looking at Missoula and Hamilton right now. Temperatures back into the upper 40s to potentially even mid-50s there on Sunday, right around 54 degrees. I'll be honest, I've been thinking about potentially going skiing on Saturday, but if temperatures are going to be in the 40s and 50s, the snow may not be the most fun. It might be a little bit sticky, but we'll find out. That's something we'll watch. But overall, by the time we get to this weekend, sunny skies, much warmer temperatures, very similar, I think, to what we saw this past weekend, are going to be expected. Let me flip this back around. We'll go through our other two regions. Kalispell, Northwest Montana, Polson. We're going to be looking at the same type of story, though we will likely clear out a little bit more into Thursday and Friday, looking at mostly clear skies and that warm-up beginning. Temperatures really from Thursday through early next week, anywhere from about 5 to as much as 12 degrees above average. So another very pleasant weekend is ahead. Oh, and I need to add this, and I just realized I'll add this to the 10 o'clock show tonight. Saturday into Sunday is the time change. We have our spring forward that takes place at 2 a.m. on Sunday morning. And that's going to, if you're a daylight lover like me, this is great news because sunset by this time next week will be right close, if not after 7:30 for all of our region. So I'm certainly looking forward to that. We finally almost made it through the darkest period of the year. And then on top of that, you may have seen on social media, on Facebook or on X, I posted up earlier about the amount of daylight hours that we're going to see increasing. And that'll be anywhere from 90 to 110 minutes for Western Montana through the month of March. It's the greatest increase in daylight hours throughout the entirety of the year. We'll start to slow that down a little bit into April and May, but we'll continue to increase. Now, to kind of break that down, that's about 3.5 minutes of extra daylight every single day. So, again, that just makes me very happy. I'm all about having some extra sunlight in my day. How do you feel? Do you all like extra sunlight, or are you more of, do you like more of the darker hours? I know some people who do. I know some people who much prefer it to be colder and darker. I am not one of those people. But on the again, on the lighter side of things, we're going to be looking at those quiet conditions for this upcoming weekend. So if you have any plans ahead that you're looking forward to this weekend, we should be in pretty good shape. Once again, mid to upper 40s in southwest Montana, and those may be some of our cooler temperatures. Area-wide, we're talking lows in the teens and 20s. So a little bit warmer than average in the afternoons for this time of the year, but overall conditions pretty consistent to what we would expect. We are going to just see this active period of weather, but nothing overly impressive throughout this week. So thank you all again for tuning in. I haven't seen any comments pop up, but if you get any photos or videos of the snow, the rain, even how it's kind of impacting your day, certainly feel free to share those pictures and videos with us at nbcmontana.com/chime-in. And then tune into our live broadcast at 10 tonight. I'll have the latest weather models and the new information that comes in. Not a whole lot's going to change, but I'll try and get everybody set up for the morning commute tomorrow as the storm system clears out. And then we'll have Kylie at the anchor desk for our latest news updates. And then, of course, as I always bring up, tomorrow morning, join NBC Montana Today with Jason Hurst and Chief Meteorologist Brooke Foster. So with that, I will wrap this up. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a great evening. Have a safe evening. And stay warm out there and dry because of all the rain and snow. With NBC Montana, I'm meteorologist Mitchell Coombs.